actually, with Tai Chi, is you're changing the way that your mind and body work together. That's good. So when you practice Tai Chi, there's a physical movement, but it's guided by your mind and your intention. And by doing all those things together, you're doing a movement that's based on different levels. It's like a mental, physical, it could even be spiritual.
So we are back here on our collaborating with Holistic Professional video series, and I am super excited today to bring my good friend and colleague and associate and teammate Frank Neely onto the video series today. Frank is not only an amazing acupuncturist, but he's been a student, lifelong student, and teacher, teacher of movement and meditation and internal movement for a very long time. So he's been an acupuncturist since 1998. He started studying meditation in 1994, started studying Tai Chi in 1997, and has been teaching both meditation and Tai Chi since 2007. So to say that we have somebody on the series here who has experience is a complete understatement of the year. I'm just thrilled to get the opportunity for us to, instead of running around the office, to be able to sit and chat shop a little bit, and looking forward to this.
Thanks for having me here. Appreciate it.
Yeah, great. So I thought, it would be great to just share with people the relationship of movement and why we think it's so important as it relates to health and wellness. Because from the way we were raised, this kind of Western mentality is that, intense movement is really the only thing that's going to help you when it comes to your health. And the Eastern perspective, as you and I both have studied and both know, looks at things a little bit differently. It looks at movement, physical movement being important, but it always being tied to what we call the internal arts or an internal movement. So I'd love to hear you kind of express that, talk about it in your own words, and kind of what that really means.
All right, yeah. The best way to describe this and give examples of this would be to talk about Tai Chi. So Tai Chi is known as an internal martial art. So what separates it from the external martial arts, like, for example, boxing or MMA fighting? On those, you use speed and strength. So that's all your focus when you're at the gym is you want to be faster, you want to be stronger. And the way you win is being faster or stronger than your opponent. Whereas in Tai Chi, the movements are internal. So it's not based on speed and strength. It's actually based on relaxation and you using your mind to control your movements. So that's why in Tai Chi, you practice very slowly because you have to feel certain things in your body and you're trying to sense certain places in your body to relax them. And also in Tai Chi, there's something called Qi, which we use in acupuncture. Qi is like an electromagnetic flow within your body or within all things. So part of Tai Chi is when you move slow, you want to feel this flow inside of your body. And as you advance, maybe you can even control this flow within your body. So part of the internal nature of Tai Chi and the movements that you do, there's three leading principles, and this is really important for beginners. I'll tell you like a short story. When I first started to study Tai Chi, I had always wanted to study Tai Chi since I was a little kid. I just loved the martial arts since I was a little kid. And I loved them so much that I wanted to do Tai Chi because I figured when I got to be really, really old, I didn't want to stop doing martial arts. I wanted to keep it up. So if I learned Tai Chi, that could be something that I could do when I'm like a really old man. So I took Tai Chi in acupuncture school and I learned this 13 posture form. It's like a basic form of Tai Chi. It was amazing. I loved it. It was the coolest thing ever. I practiced all the time. Then a few years later, I met a new Tai Chi master who was connected to a great lineage. So then I studied with him, because when I studied before, it was just at my school. You take it for a semester or two, and then that's it. Whereas this was a master who you could study with for years. So anyway, I studied with him. And then when I studied with him just in one session, I learned that what I learned was just moving, but there was nothing inside. There was no internal. I could have been doing yoga or something. It was just moving. So there's a whole internal aspect of Tai Chi. So just to sum it up, there's three main principles that guide all the movements of Tai Chi. It is Shen, Yi, and Qi. Those are the Chinese words. So Shen, they translate it as spirit, but for movement purposes, I would describe it as eye consciousness. So it's what your eye is conscious of and focusing on. And then the E is your mind's intention. And then the Qi is the energy, and it flows in your body. So to summarize this intention aspect, it's kind of like if you're playing golf, your Shen, your eye consciousness is on the ball, but your E, your intention is on the hole. So you have two things going on in your brain simultaneously, and then that guides the energy to flow through your body to hit the ball to make it go to the target. So this is an example of Shen, Yi, and Qi. So when those people are playing golf, it's not just the physical movements that guide them. Their eye is focusing on a specific thing, and their mind is on another thing, and that's actually what guides your motion. So that's an example of kind of a Western art that's an internal focus there. So it's similar in Tai Chi. When you do the movements, you're not just repeating movements over and over again. You have a specific intention that happens before you move, and that guides your motion. And also your eye is very focused on a specific thing. And part of the reason for that is it helps to calm the mind, and it also focuses your consciousness and mindfulness. And over time, you're actually not just exercising your physical body, but you're exercising parts of your brain. So that has long-term health benefits, like for dementia or Alzheimer's, or just your memory and keeping you sharp. So when you practice Tai Chi, there's a physical movement, but it's guided by your mind and your intention. And by doing all those things together, you're doing a movement that's based on different levels. It's like a mental, physical, it could even be spiritual. So it's really different from, say, you're boxing and you're lifting weights. And that you don't have to really, like, say you're just lifting weights, you don't really have to even be present in the moment. You can just be like automatic and just pumping away and knocking it out, and your mind is not even focused on anything. Whereas in Tai Chi, your mind is very, very focused on specific things. And then when you do that, it can be really helpful for, let's say you have anxiety. I found, like, with people with anxiety, they're always thinking about something. Their mind is just constantly churning. So in Tai Chi, we can take that and turn it into a skill. So instead of churning your mind on the outside world, you turn it internally, and you start to think about your shoulders. Is my shoulder relaxed? Is my neck relaxed? Is my knee relaxed? Is my breathing smooth? So you can turn it internally and then use it to cultivate your health. So that's just a quick little story about how Tai Chi is internal, and how those internal aspects can help you physically and mentally.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, I think what you're describing is so perfect, because it's the relationship, like in any holistic endeavor. You know, when we talk about holistic medicine, what is that? You know, and this is a good example of what a holistic movement is. It's moving something, you're moving your body, but at the same time, keeping a real intention on your focus and what you're focusing on mentally, and what you're also what your consciousness is on, what your eye is on. And so you, to your point, you know, you're bringing in all these things, and what you're doing is you're aligning your internal movement, your internal mechanisms with the external body movements. Whereas, you know, like you were talking about with weightlifting, like when I weightlift, I listen to an audio book, or I'm listening to
Hmm.
music, or I'm doing something to either distract or enhance my mind, completely separate from the physical movements I'm doing. I've been weightlifting for years, so I don't even think about it. I just go and do it, you know? And so to your point, like when you're doing something that is really connecting both the internal and external movements of your body, you have a much greater chance for it to actually be a healing mechanism. You know, you're hitting both the mental component of something, and you're hitting the physical component of something with intention at the same time, you know. And so I love that component of it. I love how you were talking about it. How about, can you talk to people about, you know, the actual requirement for Tai Chi? Like, what are you actually doing? Because I think a lot of people listening to this don't even know what that is. So so give a quick, like, you know, 1 minute synopsis on like what the body is actually doing, and so that you get a sense, if you're watching this, for what you know, what's required to start this practice, which I think you and I both know is not that much, you know.
Yeah, I would say like what's required to start the practice is basically just curiosity, you know. You just have to be curious. But once you do practice, what you're trying to do is this is what I tell everyone in the beginning, no matter what, because the more advanced you get, you're going to go back to this again. It's that you just want to be relaxed, smooth, and even in your movements. That's the goal of Tai Chi. So it's kind of like, you know, like some ancient masters, they wanted you to be relaxed, smooth, and even. Of course, if you just sit down and meditate, it's easy to relax and be calm physically and mentally. But can you do that while you're moving? That's much harder. And then let's say you practice and you reach some advanced state where you got it and you're like, oh man, I hit this new level. Well, then those masters were like, well, what happens if someone actually attacked you? Could you stay in that same mental peaceful state even while people are trying to do something to you? So that actually with Tai Chi is you're changing the way that your mind and body work together. It's kind of like you're taking control of your body so that the autonomic response of your sympathetic nervous system doesn't always take over. It's that you have a choice. So when a stressful situation happens, instead of responding with your sympathetic nervous system, you want to respond by relaxing your mind and body.
Yeah,
And
it's
that's
beautiful.
it's really hard to do that. So you have to practice.
Yeah, no, it's beautiful because what you're describing, you know, like many people are not going to be getting into a fight who are going to be taking this practice on. But we all get stressed, and we all operate differently under stress than we do when we're not stressed. And so
Correct.
the value is as if you were in a fight, but you're in a fight with yourself. You know,
Right. Yep.
you're basically taking down your nervous system so that you can focus and really make the right choice in the moment, that doesn't come from just this kind of, you know, snap response like you were describing from your nervous system. And so
That's a great point. So when I teach people, a lot of times people say that, well, I'm not trying to learn how to fight, or I'm not going to be in a fight. And I agree. Like I'm not necessarily trying to make you a prize fighter, but I'm just trying to introduce stress to you and then get you to solve stress while you're relaxed mentally and physically. And that's the goal of Tai Chi, is to be relaxed mentally and physically under stress. And
mm,
it's a whole training method of these smooth, calm, slow movements to transform your nervous system. So when you get stressed, you can respond with calmness.
Yeah, for sure. It's awesome. I mean, and so the beauty of this is because you're moving slowly, because so much of it is based on balance and slow movements. You know, there are people that we treat who have incredible knee pain that keep saying to me, you know, I can't run anymore. It hurts when I cycle. Even walking bothers me. This is a type of practice that you can start and you can get so much benefit from. If you have back pain, if you have, you know, if you have certain physical conditions that are limiting you from being able to do physical activity the way that you may have done in the past, this is a perfect segue. And it's something that, you know, as we age, we see this transition from people, you know, the way that we think about people in Eastern cultures, they transition from more, you know, explosive movements when they're younger to more slow and controlled movements as they get older for the purpose of balance, mental clarity, you know, all of the things that Frank was describing, right? All the things that you were describing. So, you know, it's really a perfect, you know, system to be utilizing, even if you are in discomfort, even if you're just trying to get over something, and you don't have to wait until everything heals to start exercising again when you have, you know, opportunities like this one.
Yeah, definitely. And all, even in Tai Chi, you can use it as a method of healing. Like, for example, I had a tight muscle in my shoulder. So then when I practiced my Tai Chi, all my movements, I decided to put my mind in my shoulder and then make sure I kept it relaxed throughout my entire movement time.
Mm-hmm.
So you can use your mind to actually go into the area that's painful and then try to relax the muscles around there. So there's a lot of different ways you can use this as an internal kind of exercise and motion to help heal yourself.
That's it. It's fantastic. It's almost like you know, it's physical therapy, but you're self-controlling it. And so, you know, the same way that if we're doing movement, you want to do movement when you're healing. You don't want to just be static because then things atrophy, the muscles get weak. There's lots of things that can happen. So to your point, I love that point because it's like you want to be able to move, but you want to be able to move not that's going to exacerbate the issue. You want to move right up to it so that it actually initiates the healing along with whatever other body work you're doing, acupuncture, herbal medicine, massage, chiropractic, whatever else you're doing to help it. That little bit of movement can have a huge impact on blood flow and some of the things that, you know, if you're only coming in for acupuncture 2 or 3 times a week, you've got three, 4, 5 other days of that week that we need to do something to continue to initiate that healing. Make sense?
Definitely.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, this has been fantastic. I just want to sit and talk to you for hours, and I think we don't get even enough, even this 15 minutes enough. And so I really appreciate your time and expertise and just everything you bring to the table when it comes to not just you know, acupuncture and being a great practitioner, but herbal medicine and movement therapy like Tai Chi and meditation. And so, you know, this has been super enjoyable for me, and I hope we can continue to do these more frequently.
Definitely. I'll be back. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man. Great. We'll talk to you soon.
All right. Take it easy.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone.